Good afternoon to you. Mark Sott with HurricaneTrack.com here. Off-season outlook and discussion time. It's not quite hurricane season yet, but we do have something to talk about in the Eastern Pacific. So here I am, Friday afternoon, April 24th, 2020. And yes, we do have a system to discuss, even though it's not quite hurricane season yet in the Eastern Pacific. Here it is right here, Invest Area 90E. The E is for Eastern Pacific. The 90 is just a designated number to give it instead of just, oh, it's a disturbance or whatever. They give these numbers 90 through 99, and they use them over again. And it's just a way to designate an area of interest, or in this case, we call it an invest, an area of investigation. And here it is, 90E in the Eastern Pacific, kind of focusing in on it a little bit more here. 80% chance here over the next 2 days to 5 days. It is well to the southwest of the southern tip of the Baja Peninsula right here. So no worries, it's not going to affect land up here. Mexico, Pacific Mexico, not a problem. It's far enough away that even if it goes on to become a tropical storm or a hurricane, which it probably won't become a hurricane, it's not going to be a big deal. But it's there, it's a little earlier than normal. We've never had an April named storm in the Pacific. I believe May 7th or May 9th, somewhere around there, is the earliest, and that was in 2017, believe it or not, if memory serves. Normally, the Eastern Pacific season starts around the 15th of May, or at least that's what it is on a man-made calendar. This is the development area, and again, even if it goes on to develop and become a named storm, no big deal overall. What is its name going to be if it does become a named storm? Well, let's go to the Eastern North Pacific. We'll take a look at that. Last year we started off with Alvin. In 2020, it'll be Amanda. And then Boris. Amanda, that's a song from Boston, right? And then Boris, you know, like the Prime Minister. Isn't that what he's called of the UK? Boris Johnson. Christina. And it just goes on and on and on, right? So Amanda, if it gets named, so we'll see. All right, so this is a stationary, true color, shortwave infrared at night, if you wanted to do that, true color during the day, from Levi Cowan's website, mainly just to show you where it is. It's located right here, got that S shape to it, and it may go on to become a depression. We'll see. So why? Why is this happening a couple of weeks or so, 3 weeks ahead of schedule? Does it mean something? Well, probably not. Although I can't, how do I know that, right? I mean, I don't know that it does or doesn't mean something further, for further down the road, but there's no reason to be concerned with it. Does that make any sense? And I think admitting, I don't know what this means, if it's a sign of things to come, but you know what? So what? If it is, we'll be ready for it. But it's there, it's interesting. And like I said, it may go on to develop further. Again, looking at some of the diagnostics, the facts of the system. Well, here it is. Let me get the color back to the way I want it. We use black here. That's the vorticity signature of our system. It's round, it's bundled. Compare that to this vorticity signature here over parts of the U.S. Great Plains, Texas on up through Oklahoma and Kansas. This is more linear, like a line, right? And this is more circular. This is where the energy is trying to bundle. This is where the energy is stretched out longer in a linear fashion. And so those are different types of weather features. This is trying to bundle that energy around a common low pressure area in the tropics. And that's how you get a tropical cyclone, or at least part of the process. So that's what we look for. That is a fairly healthy signature. We also look at the, I did want to show you this real quick. This in the Gulf of Mexico, in case you're wondering, this is that front that came through the trough. Nothing's going to develop from that. Upper level winds are way too strong. And if we look at the vorticity in the Gulf of Mexico, that's linear. It's all stretched out. Nothing bundling in the Gulf of Mexico, so no worries there. This is 90E right here. This is just a different perspective of it. Again, well off the coast of Mexico. You know what? I want to show you one more thing, though. Let me go back. I need my upper level winds. Yeah, there we go. So let's look at the upper level winds. We'll zoom in, scroll over, maybe. It's going to let me? That's fine. Whatever. Let's get a color where we can see better. White. Nope, sorry. I'm trying to... There we go. We'll use the same color as the flags. Upper level winds are fairly favorable, but over quite a small area. I mean, this is literally finding a little sweet spot down here. It's not like upper level winds are favorable over a giant area of the eastern Pacific. The moisture content is really not that high except in this one little area, and this is kind of a water vapor image as well. And you can see there is some moisture in here, but all this dark color is dry air, more stable air, and we can see that too reflected on the sea surface temperatures. Where is the system located? Roughly in here somewhere, roughly in here. And water temperatures 28, 29 Celsius, that's plenty warm. So again, it has found itself in a sweet spot. It's just everything happens to come together for this. And we saw this tweet, what was this, about 17 hours ago, a day ago, something like that, from Philippe. The Madden-Julian oscillation, the upward motion, what we call the velocity potential. The chart here, it's kind of hard to figure out what we're looking at, but that's the one little area right there. It's just a small region of divergent flow aloft where the air is spreading out. Green means go, red is generally stop. That's the easiest way to think of this. And then if we zoom in on it, it's even more pronounced as you tighten up the scale and zoom in. Lots of arrows flowing away. That's what you want. Air spreading out in the upper levels so that air at the surface that's coming together, because that's what's happening, is air down here is coming together at the surface, convergence, and then in the upper levels, it is diverging out this way. See? And that's just this one little sweet spot down here, part of this convectively coupled Kelvin wave. You see Philippe talk about that. So maybe that the MJO phase being negative with the CCKW, the convectively coupled Kelvin wave, just an area of enhanced favorability, like a shot of Red Bull, if you will, but a much shorter period of favorability than the longer-term Madden-Julian oscillation. The bottom line, what it all comes down to, interesting. It may go on to become Amanda. It may not. It doesn't really matter much. Lots and lots of cold water to its north up here, much stable atmosphere. Above that cold water, it's a novelty. Don't let it get you nervous or upset or worried. We got enough to worry about as it is, and if I can get me to come back up. But it is interesting, and we do track tropical cyclones here pretty much globally, even though it's HurricaneTrack.com. It's not necessarily cyclone or typhoon. They're all tropical cyclones. We keep up with them, especially when they're newsworthy. And yes, the Eastern Pacific is part of my area of responsibility. I like talking about it. And there you go. So we'll watch it over the weekend, see what happens. I might do some more updates. In fact, I'm sure I will. And we'll see where this goes. But again, nothing to worry about. Have yourselves a great rest of your Friday. Thanks as always for tuning in. I'm Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. I'll talk to you periodically throughout the weekend ahead.